Moving on. A fresh Donald Trump fight is brewing, and he now has BRICS in his sight. The US president said in a social media post that any country aligning itself with the anti-American policies of BRICS would face an additional 10% tariff. Trump had threatened that BRICS nations will face a 100% tariff if they so much as even think about reducing the use of the dollar in global trade, as Russia had suggested at one point of time. This brings India in the crosshairs of America again, even as it is negotiating a trade deal. Remember, BRICS include the founding five members, Russia, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, but has now expanded to as many as 10 members. BRICS now accounts for 45% of the global population and contributes over 35% of the world's GDP. Amidst this clash on tariffs, what is important for India is also the BRICS statement on terror. Despite Iran and Indonesia's presence and China's influence, India's message on terror was backed by BRICS. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated that Pahalgam was a direct assault on India's dignity, and the BRICS statement too condemned the April 22 attack. PM highlighted how terrorism is one of the gravest threats to humanity. BRICS statement too mentioned how they are committed to combating terror in all forms. And finally, as Prime Minister highlighted once again that countries should not hesitate in imposing sanctions on terrorists, BRICS statement said that countries will combat cross-border terrorism and terror financing and backers as well. Now, the BRICS consensus has irked Trump. The US president has warned of the global South bloc doing what he does best. He has warned of imposing additional 10% tariffs on BRICS nations for aligning with, quote, anti-American policies, while India continues to stand firm on its ground that they will only accept a deal when it is in national interest. Trump has said that there will be no exceptions to policy anymore. While there was no mention of Trump, the BRICS unanimously condemned tariffs and subsequent trade war and discussed global trade. Trump has also claimed that 100% tariffs will be implemented if BRICS members try to undermine the dollar. China, in response, has said that they are against using tariffs as a tool for coercion. Trump has readied 12 letters. We are being told he's all set to send them out in a few hours as the deadline approaches that has been set by him. Here are the countries who are likely to be on the receiving end. European Union has been threatened with 50% taxes on cars and cheese. Germany wants any deal to avoid a disaster, while France refuses to be at the receiving end of quote-unquote a bad deal. Japan may face 35% tariffs, higher than April's 24%. South Korea has begged for extra time, even offering factory partnership. Canada has escaped letters so far, but could pay some additional tariffs. India may get last-minute concession, but the threat, of course, continues to loom. As I said, India and US are in last-stage negotiations of a trade deal. But even as this tariff war is looming, our big focus continues on India's message resonating at BRICS. That also brings us to question, will Chinese double game end? Because remember, they're saying they will act on terror backers and financiers. Then why don't they? That debate is coming up with our guests.
He underlined the Pahalgam attack, terror attack, is an onslaught on the entire humanity.
नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, भारत के हितों को संरक्षण करना, ये मोदी सरकार का पहला ध्येय है। ये हमारी प्राथमिकता रहती है और आप सबको कोई चिंता करने की बात नहीं है।
我们对金砖机制的一个看法，我们觉得金砖机制是国际上的一个积极力。
They'll be going out on Monday, and some will go out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we've made deals also. So we're going to have a combination of letters, and some deals have been made.
Let's go across to Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow, ORF, joining us. Aina Tangjan is Senior Fellow of the Tahe Institute. He will also be with us very shortly. Sushant, how do you read into the BRICS statement? I mean, it's laughable at one end, but do you think it gives us any hope that there will be some course correction from countries like China, who have often backed not just Pak-sponsored terror, but also terror backers and financiers in Pakistan?
Unfortunately, no, Shivani. I don't think we should be under any illusion that these statements actually reflect the policies of various countries. A lot of it is a virtue signaling and just diplomatic wrangling at the summits, get a text out. Um, so while we can't quibble about the text in and of itself, the fact is that will it change the calculus of various countries? Now, the Chinese, for example, have been putting technical holds on even the naming and shaming of dreaded terrorists.
Yes.
People who the Chinese themselves will never allow entry into their own country. They will not allow a Hafiz Saeed, a Masood Azhar, Sajid Mir to come into their own country. Now, even by the Chinese definition, these guys are terrorists. But because they want to, give some kind of a leeway to their all-brother friend Pakistan, they will not allow the designation of some of these characters. Similarly, we've seen these kind of double standard, and it's not just about the Chinese. We've seen these double standards even in Western countries.
Yes.
So I think at one level, everybody will say the right things about fighting against terrorism, cooperating against terrorism, putting together various resources, intelligence, information to crack down on terror groups, not allowing state-sponsored terrorism to flourish. And yet, when it comes to individual countries, they will do business with countries which are doing all of the above without any compunctions. So I think that is the world we are going to be living in. Each country will have to fight the menace of terrorism on its own. And if you can manage to get some support because you face the same enemy, okay, fine. Otherwise, I think everybody's on their own on fighting terrorism.
The
And
statement
everybody
is,
should die together, actually.
The statement
Because
is
this
coming
terrorism
only a
that
few
is
days.
metastasizing, and this is going to hit everybody. It's going to hit Chinese. It's going to hit the Russians. It has already hit them. It's going to hit us. It's hitting the Pakistanis who have been the originators of it. It's hit the Americans. It's going to hit the Europeans. It's going to hit everybody.
Yeah.
So anybody who thinks that they're going to remain immune from it, insulated from it, they have another thought coming. But by then it'll be too late.
Interestingly, this statement is coming after what the Quad also said, even though earlier we couldn't get these statements passed, or at least the UN's view has been slightly different. But the SCO couldn't pass a statement on Pahalgam attack and try to, get its Pakistani-Chinese angle in. But the Quad did, and now the BRICS has. Do you think the Chinese will also be understanding of the issue that in this new world, they also cannot push India away too much? I mean, you look at this whole tariff things that is playing out. Several noted thinkers, even American thinkers, have pointed about how India cannot rely on America, and therefore efforts should continue between India and China to have the relationship that they have. I won't call it a friendship, but do you think Chinese also realize this?
Look, at one level, I think it serves the Chinese interests, whether they realize it or not. Because what are the Chinese telling us? Let's not talk about the border clashes. Let's not talk about tensions on the border. Let's not try and solve these issues. Don't ask for any thing on the issue of terrorism. And let's keep doing trade and let's keep talking about commerce, right? That's what they've been plugging. And that's a line we have been resisting, because we say that this relationship will not go very far if we are not going to solve some of the more, problems, the bigger problems between the two of us.
Okay.
Now, at one level, that's playing into the Chinese hand. At another level, I think all countries want to look for some kind of, a fallback arrangement, because the Americans are behaving like, it's like a crazy government gone crazy. There's a capricious president who, one day he wakes up 10% tariff here, the next day he says 25 there, then he says, okay, 15 for you, 10 out there. That's not how the the most powerful country in the world is supposed to behave.
Okay. Shashank, just hold your thought. Unfortunately, NR Tangan has joined us very late. I do have only a couple of minutes for him now. NR, my question to you is, despite this BRICS statement, there is a feeling in India that China doesn't do enough. In fact, it goes the other way when it comes to protecting Pakistan backed cross-border terrorism against India, the designation of global terrorists that emanate from Pakistan. Why is it that the Chinese feel that they continue to do so? Because as before you joined us, Sushant Sareen was mentioning how terrorism is going to be the bane of all of humanity. Chinese are not going to be able to insulate themselves.
Well, I think the Chinese would agree with you, not in terms of doing more, but the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of which both Pakistan and India and China are part of, was exactly created for that reason, as to combat terrorism. But you have to use the mechanism. You can't say, I'm going to act unilaterally when I'm part of a multilateral group. It would have been far better for India to have proven to its case internationally, beyond a reasonable doubt, with its peers, whoever was behind this. And if it was a state actor,
India did this for 2611. Ainar, India has done this repeatedly, again and again, and it has not, even China hasn't done enough to actually.
You keep saying that China hasn't done enough.
It
What do you expect
it hasn't done
China
enough
to do?
in even allowing the normal processes, even at the UNSC, to take effect. So I don't think that message is going anywhere from China, that follow the processes. Following the processes isn't going anywhere.
All right. So what we have here is a situation where the U.S. is not being nice to India, despite the fact that India has, in essence, been playing footsie with Washington. And now all of a sudden, it's China hasn't done enough.
No, it's not all of a sudden at all. It's not all of a sudden at all. Ainar, you've been part of our debates for many years. It's not all of a sudden at all. We know Chinese efforts to block the designation of Pakistani terrorists.
No, you're trying to change the argument. What has happened here, I was asked to talk about BRICS. And at BRICS, what you have is a statement by all of the BRICS saying that the U.S. is acting irrationally. And then you call on the program and you want to say this is somehow China's fault.
No, one second. The BRICS statement. The BRICS statement also talked about. One second, Ainar. The BRICS statement also talked about condemning Pahalgam attack in Jammu and Kashmir and acting against cross-border terrorism and acting against the backers and financiers of terrorism. That's the question I'm posing to China, not on the US. It did not specifically mention Jammu
and Kashmir. What it mentioned is that they want a cessation to the unilateral actions that are out there. They want to stop terrorism. So everybody is in agreement. The issue is how to combat terrorism effectively. And that is the only issue that is out there. If you say that India's tried and it doesn't work, what are the logical end game? You're going to start wars with a nuclear armed country? You say, oh, that shouldn't be an impediment? But you're playing with humanity's future, not just India and Pakistan.
I'm wondering why that lecture is coming to India and not going to Pakistan when it actually breeds terrorism and terrorists against us. I've run out of time though, Ainar. Unfortunately, you've joined us a little bit late.
They feel the same about.
But this
Network 18 decimates Times Internet with over 6 times more unique users on social media. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks.